Hello everyone and welcome to Helicon West. My name is Star. I want to tell you that Helicon West is uncensored. It's a public reading series that hosts published authors and community writers to showcase all levels of skill and craft. We welcome open mic readers, and this is summer, so it's all open mic. So I hope everyone who's here wants to read something. We welcome donations. QR code is over the audible mark on the table. There's coffee. It's decaf, so you can drink up and you don't have to worry about losing any sleep. And be sure to use a lid for your coffee. Helicon West humbly acknowledges that we are here on the territory of the Northwestern Band of the Shoshone Nation. We're grateful for our sponsors and partners, Sugar House Review, the Logan Library, the USU English Department, Cafe Arbis, and many community volunteers. For information, interviews, and more, visit heliconwest.wordpress.com. And during our events, we like to keep the doors closed. And we're going to plunge right into open mic. Our first three readers are Ronald Jensen, Brooke H., and Star. Hi, Ron.
Grace, you left behind your family, you left behind your fans, you left behind your co-workers, you left your boyfriend, shared a mission for your church, then you became a Christian coach for your mom and band aside. Now you're remiss, both young and old, to depressed and relieved. How would you feel home? Where would I be? Where would I be if I hadn't met you? If I lost my home, what would I do? You guys come along? Instead I do. Now I'm able to live with you. Because it shows God, Father over me. I'm together with you for eternity.
Thank you, Ron.
Everyone, I can never tell if it's like picking up. I guess
You can tip it up just a little bit so your mouth is closer.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's
okay.
perfect.
I'm just gonna read. I wrote this earlier today, and I don't know how I feel about it, so I thought, why not read it in front of a bunch of people and see how I feel about it.
Try us out.
Yeah. My dad taught me to start my prayers by saying, "Dear Heavenly Father." I'd always liked that, how it sounded like the beginning of a letter to God. But I learned how to pray before I learned how to write, so maybe it's the other way around. The only letters I've ever actually written have been my suicide notes. I was never writing letters to God. I was praying to everyone. That's how I would start each of my letters. Dear everyone, please, please try to understand. Dear everyone, it hurts so bad all the time. Dear everyone, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. These were the prayers I started writing as soon as I realized God wasn't answering. There's something really fascinating about addressing someone as dear to me, affixing it to their name as a greeting. It means so much. Precious, severe, loved, earnest. And I suppose when I was writing my letters to God and everyone, reverence. I like to think about the end of prayers too. People always say amen with such finality, but my favorite translation of it has always been, let it be so. To me, that phrase is nothing but trembling, nothing but pleading. It was never a command, because things would be different if I could command God. The first journal entry I ever signed off with, "Please help me," was from when I was 9. They only grew from there, until every word I wrote was bleeding with begging, until begging was all that I was. That's the only way I understand prayer. And then there's the act itself. Hands clasped or arms folded, head bowed and on your knees. Supplication. I sometimes wonder if we're the ones choosing to lower ourselves in God's presence, or if he wants us to beg. Sometimes, when things were really bad, I couldn't even get out of bed, and I would pray like that, laying down. I would ask God to let me feel okay, and when he wouldn't answer, I would instead pray for forgiveness from whatever I had done to deserve his silence. I haven't gotten on my knees in years, but I don't think I've ever stopped praying. It doesn't matter to who. God, everyone, anyone. No one has ever answered. I don't know what I did wrong, but I wasn't ever forgiven. My dad gave me God because he thought that was enough. He didn't need to be a father if I had my very own heavenly one. This is what God and my dad taught me about love through prayer. It is something shameful, meant to be hidden behind doors. It is something you need to earn by becoming what people want. It is something you will always beg for and never get.
I think we've started out just right. Good stuff so far. Thank you. This is for a prompt called nickname. The name my brothers taunted me with when I was a hate-my-body 8-year-old girl was Tubby. It stuck with me throughout my life, though no one called me that after I was 8. I was not the only girl called names that disfigured us for a lifetime, names that caused us to see ourselves as what the name implied, names that instilled chronic illness, names that led, in my case, to excessive dieting, fad diets, starvation diets, extended fasting, Twiggy diets, flu diets, divorce diets, cancer diets, a body image that insists every mirror and scale is against us. The mirror shows rounded hips and bellies where we want nothing but lithe, lean wispiness. The scale says we must get rid of that extra 20 pounds, then 10, then 5 more, and then another 3 or 2 until our butts cave in and our ribs jut out and our clothes hang on us shapeless. We wanted the smallest sizes, the size 3, the size 0. The size of clothing, though, became irrelevant because it was about body size that had us strive forever to be thinner because of a nickname, because of an era, because of marketing, because of misogyny. It wasn't my brother's fault. It was the 1960s and 1970s. It was rural Mormon Christian Idaho where there were rules for girls and women, for the way girls and women should look, should act, should be, for the way we dressed, the way we spoke, the way we thought. Rules for thought. Modest, moral, neat, humble, obedient, slender, soft-spoken, pretty. Pretty on the inside and the outside. Translation, starved. Hide your curves so they don't entice men. Be lean enough not to be seen if you turn sideways. The problem was I loved food. I lived on a farm where milk, butter, bread, and meat were plentiful, as were sweetened fruits and buttered vegetables and creamy gravy over everything. It was a struggle for me when the table was laden. The thing that saved me from overeating was that men and boys were served first. And they were offered seconds, but girls were not. So the food disappeared before I could imagine getting my hands on those side dishes, breads, and desserts. Then one year, I went to girls' camp for a church activity, and I learned what excess can do to turn a girl off food. That day I watched women prepare food outdoors on long tables and over campfires on black griddles. Bacon, eggs, pancakes, potatoes, 3 meals a day, load up your plate. I did. The first night at camp, tents and sleeping bags staked out, I felt the day's glut of food rise in my throat. I ran to the outdoor privy as my insides turned to explosive liquid that shot forth from both ends for what seemed like hours. I had locked to the 2-hole privy with its wood-block door holder, and I listened to the other girls pounding on the door and screaming for me to get out. They needed the bathroom, but I was stuck there sick with vomiting, retching, shitting, puking, and bowel gritting, and near to blacking out. When I finally opened the door, purged, I crawled to my sleeping bag. I lay there moaning until one of the counselors was called to drive me home in the middle of the night. When I woke my mother to tell her what happened, she said, "I'm sorry, it's been a long day and I'm too tired to help you. Get yourself a lemon and soda and you'll feel better in the morning." I did. It was a food poisoning diet. It kept me from eating pancakes for about a year. Then came the Married with Children diets, the diets I contrived to suit my lifestyle. Cook for my kids, cook dinner for their dad if he happened to be around, don't cook a serving for myself. After that, it was the divorce diet, where all your friends and family know by your emaciated yet hyper-energetic body and personality exactly what's coming, and it did. I went back to school as a 40-year-old, and I learned about the cancer diet. A former professor was having chemo for pancreatic cancer and came to visit the department a few weeks before she died. I overheard her telling a colleague that she had tried all her life to lose weight, and now she was reveling in being so skinny that her clothes finally looked good on her. The death diet. I wonder what her nickname was when she was growing up as a farm girl in rural Idaho, just like me. Our next 3 readers are Michael, Brock, and Jan. Come on up.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Michael.
I have a couple poems today. They were actually written on the same day in November 2014, and it was a really deep day that I had. I had recently moved from here to Colorado after some interesting events. So anyway, the first poem is called Spider Woman. It's a Danae from a Danae myth. I don't know if y'all know about Spider Woman. She's actually a creation goddess of the Navajo Danae, and she's a weaver, and so weavers, I have a resonance of weavers. My mom was a weaver, and I've read about the Norns and faiths and mythology, and so the first one is actually a prayer to Spider Woman. And the next one is a metamorphosis. Later on in that day, I was a little bit more intoxicated, and so this was actually a series of texts that I sent to a friend of mine, and it was just my soul speaking through my phone. So it was quite interesting. But so anyway, I'll begin with Spider Woman. Help me, O Spider Woman, help me to see the threads of energy you weave around me. Help me to know when to stop and when to go. Help me not to project myself, but to wait for your flow. In and out the energy goes. Some people we don't, some people we know. In and out the energy is woven. People in the dance with souls they have chosen. Moving through shadows of dimension and time, I try to communicate with words, code, and rhyme, wondering if they're awake or asleep in a dream. Are we only activators? Sometimes it would seem. Help me, O Spider Woman, help me to hear. I feel timelines are changing, and more deeper shifting is near. Please help me be the wolf, with ears poised at attention, a heart connected to mother, eyes forward, seeing within dimension. In and out the energy flows, weaving through trees the wolf path goes, in and out of lives we have chosen, of interconnectedness, sacred beholden. This next one is called Metamorphosis. And it really, it's just myself describing what that experience is like. I too know what it's like to be in metamorphosis, to see all too that's real, sometimes too much to feel. In me, you see, all I am trying to be is a hollow bone of energy for Mother Earth, don't you see? The tears that flow and drip off my nose, the heart to just be interconnected, you see, with all that is to be. A lonely road this is, misunderstood, so misread. The path of the wolf in cosmic code to be read. I'm sorry if I burden you. Why? Is a question I ask, gazing into a mask of who we try to be, who we think we see, we are becoming to be. A long journey I have walked, with bare feet have I sought the meaning of life and my place in it, the reason for love and the tears that went with it. Oh God, why am I a creature as I, who walks on the earth, searching for worth? Oh Creator, help me see the meaning to be all that we are, who we came here to be. Through eyes of a dove we see up above. Into the light of Thee do we aspire to be. Only in pain and metamorphosis, you see, can we ever hope to be all that we already are, all interconnected. In Pisces, the veil between what is real and what is seen, so thin you see, yet so magnificent to be, all that our soul yearns to be. I'm sorry, Rachel, for burdening you with this. Much of it is for me to synthesis. Yet because you're a pure soul of whom my soul knows, I trust you with this inner dialogue too, of which I hope to communicate to thee. In you I can find me, you see. I hope to communicate to thee. In you I can find me. Sorry. Words of the soul are so deep, don't you know, that confiding in trust in sacredness among the spiral journey of the grouse deep into the fourth house of insecurity and sham, to find who I am. In sacred space, in you I place, and yet hopefully not to regret misrepresentation as yet. My true intentions of who I try to present to you. I too have been thinking of family, Miles, Melody, and my sisters in Denver wanting me to be there for Christmas. But what am I doing? Grounding. I am very deep today, written you and Valerie, both on a soul level, trying to connect with Mother and myself. So much metamorphosis going on in me. Also learning about eclipses, 6-month cycles in and out. Past women in my life and the cycles about Neptune and illusion and the Sagittarius fusion of the daemon soul, the consciousness of Gaia and the human. The medicine person in me is what I am longing to be. My soul in the 10th house, so longing to be free. It hurts sometimes, really, really deep at times, to be who I am, longing to be. As painful as my spirit journey can be, it's really quite fascinating, I wish you could see. The complete mosaic of words sent to you, Mary, Michelle, Lisa, and Valerie. Kind of unfair at times, speaking in code and rhyme, and getting only fragments of me, just pieces, you see. Not the full picture of who, what I am trying to see. There's a piece I wrote earlier this morning of Spider-Man, a Navajo spirit story of gloom weaving, and the in and out weaving of energy, people and experiences throughout our lives. Just so fascinating when you can step back and see it all go together. The interconnectedness of creation. Oh, and I forgot to add my son Miles to that list. Here is his reply to the long thread of text I sent him the other night. You know, Dad, I have no idea what you just said, right? Ha ha ha.
I just have a short letter to the editor that I thought might be fun to read aloud.
All right.
As you know, I'm a trendy person, and one of the trends I've noticed recently is people changing the names of things to honor our esteemed president. So I thought that was a bandwagon I could jump on. And they titled the letter, "Give Trump His Due Credit," which is fine. It's kind of Department Redundancy Department, but anyway. Dear editor, I agree we should rename appropriate things to give the president credit where due. Because withdrawing from the Paris Accords guarantees more climate disasters sooner, every future hurricane should be named Donald. Because withdrawing from the World Health Organization guarantees that the next pandemic will kill even more people, the next big killer bug should be called Magadeath. Because Trump fired 400 FAA workers who kept our planes safe, all plane crashes in the next 4 years should be called Donald's disasters. Because Trump cut all humanitarian assistance worldwide, resulting in 1,400 infants being infected by HIV daily, he should be called the AIDS president. The inflation caused by Trump's tariff should be called Trump taxes, and the resulting recession should be the Trump slump. And because Trump's chainsaw social and economic policies are already creating more misery and homelessness, the 10 cities sure to spring up should all be called Trump Towers. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, June. So this is a piece that we got from a prompt about writing about a funny experience while having sex. So, my first semi-sexual experience was with Sammy Gonzalez, star of my junior high school football team. It wasn't funny, nor was it actually a sexual experience, just an experience. We had ridden on his motorcycle to a wooded area. All I remember from that was that somehow we ended up on the forested ground making out when he started to feel my breast. I was shocked, aghast, beside myself, but man, did it ever feel good. The prude in me won out though, and I abruptly stood up and walked back to the motorcycle. He was confused and probably disappointed and wanted to know what was wrong. I couldn't speak and just said I needed to go home. I never explained myself. He should have known anyway. And it seems we broke up shortly afterwards. He began dating one of the cheerleaders, one who no doubt put out. I was in 9th grade. Nothing much happened again to me sexually until I met the man who would become my first husband. I was 19 and he was 25. For some reason, I felt it was important to be a virgin when I got married. I lost a lot of boyfriends because of that, but that made it even more important for me. We had been steadily dating for a few months, and he was so insistent that we needed to have sex. I got the whole line about how badly his penis hurt by not having sex. I was pretty naive, but even I didn't buy that one. He could get relief himself. There were ways. I was a huge proponent of masturbation for myself, and so he should have at it. Once we became engaged, he became more insistent. He eventually got his way on January 17, 1975, the day I lost my virginity. I mark that day each year for some reason, just as I marked my quit smoking day, March 1st, 1979. I remember that date when I lost my virginity specifically because it was the day my future sister-in-law, his sister, got married. It was a big family affair, and afterwards we went back to the newlyweds' new apartment while they left for their honeymoon. And we christened their marital bed. Not that I was a willing partner, he tricked me. I should have known then that he was not a keeper. We got married 5 months later, even though I was inexperienced sexually. He was very patient, kind, and a good teacher, at first anyway. He even bought me a book, The Happy Hooker, which was on the bestsellers list that year. That book was chock full of very useful information and really helped me get over my tendency towards prudishness. The marriage didn't last, mainly because he found having sex outside of the marriage more to his liking, even with my educated ways. I haven't had a lot of sexual partners, but the names that I have had made me laugh. My first husband, his name was Herbert. He went by Herb. Then I dated someone named Ron, who later on became Ron 1, because then I dated Jim, and then I dated Ron 2. Then Umberto, my wonderful Italian lover of 3 months, and then Gilberto, my second husband. I always joked that if I ever met a man named Ron Berto, he would be my perfect partner.
Okay, so this is the time when people who haven't signed up get an opportunity. And Joseph, did you find something to read?
No.
Oh, man. Tim, are you reading?
Sure.
Yes! And who else is going to read? And you're already on here, right, Katie? Yeah. And that's it? First call, second call? All right. Well, Tim. Oh, do you want Katie?
Ladies first.
Ladies first, Katie. Come on up.
Thank you. I hope I don't take too long. So, can you hear me okay? Okay. Just gonna read a poem I've read before, but I made an edit, which probably should have been the original all along.
All right.
Easter. I am a Saturn who dreams of days after Easter, a sick lion. Plot against others and fall, a number that permeates. Seeing the waves, feeling the ground, divines time, a definition derived from lots of adventures. I'll never be there. You are beyond me. God made me forget chronicling the deities, how humans cannot fathom. Look around, close your eyes, to wrap yourself in the warm recall. In the underworld, she was Venus, angel or demon, the cursed prince. The world is a labyrinth, nature is a mirror. God is my grace, Christ is my hope, a severe but glorious life, a great beauty, a place of force. And then next one is about Diana, the goddess of the hunt, Artemis or Diana. So I'll just start with that. At the limits of civilization and the extremities of earth, a kingdom of a different sort. Rhythms deep, unbowed, emanate. Open the doors of the wild. The hunter is there. They allow you to think with your whole mind, between your brain and your foot. Rational and instinctive, increases patience. Decide, detach, refocus. Animals live in the present moment, awareness, in order to be in sync. Rugged individuals and members of a whole. Beginnings and rebirth, endless possibilities before you at the start. Earth patched by shade, dandelion root and, I'll say that again, dandelion root and flowers, precious resin. Moonstone, no violating nature's right-of-way. Unwind, understand, or muck. Cup, bear, hunter, dog, and pup. Thrown about in collision, hunter's aim, properly adjust the head, squint. Functional spare arrow to dispose. Animal run, keep fronts and backs upright above their silhouettes. The archer passes, her ears burning, hearing everything. The seasons too shall pass. Buds and fall, snow and rain, sun and ice. Nature like the moon comes in phases. Overlooking Paris's abode, lost girls unseen, a foraging wolf, vintage flare flaring, morning colors in hiding. Woodpeckers dart past, intrepid fowl, make a trail, nuts dried, small fruits, water, plant-based carrion, recycled regrowth moss. Much of the woodland habitat has been lost, but not her. Far back amongst the conifers, their elegant combination of greenery, silver, gray, brown, obscuring a serene Celine, with white stag, but not her spirit of exploration. Water-based white sands encompass rivers, respect the privacy of the pools, electricity extinguished, consents as the heat of summer rises, days and nights stretch longer. The stealthy acrobatic hunter relies on exercises and triangulation. She fixes her face against the drawstring, her silver arrow crossed with a target. A clear head is important. Let go. Feel and pierce the heart more softly than a healer. Auric feedback felt into both. This is Zeus's favorite child, Diana. Silver over gold bears a son, but not the sun or sun. The twin of snake and song, her archery a softer style than Apollo's, curves not angles. Different areas, different arenas. Artemis sees you as capable breathing, strength radiating from her quiet, silent courage. Clears the moon, a triad of phrases, the power of living in threes, magic inside, mother, maiden, crone, all in one. Leads the women, she is their protector. But empathy really needs experience. Without it, it's just sympathy. Her strongest suit, resistant outerwear, appropriate to the climb, the time of the club and dog forgotten, up in the air. At the limits of earth and the extremities of heaven, deep black complements midnight blue. The moon is there, it increases. Actually, I wrote these on, I skipped a page. Yeah. Spiritual wisdom clears emotional blockages and resonates with karmic energy. Awake but not awake. What I missed does not exist. Don't fall in love with the moonlight. Now, do I have time for a couple more?
If they're not too long.
Okay. I'll just read. It's a one with a long title, The Epistolatory Beginnings of Frankenstein. Sorry, I just had these tabbed. Finding it. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll read the string. It's about Theseus, Ariadne, and the Minotaur. Times, ages, a saga. Here's the shadow of the situation, the current war, in an occupied Athens. Theseus, prince, merchant, mariner, Kronos was his grandfather. It is the most important war. toil and misery, justice and peace, and wind knots of characters, of sails before marching off to war. They left their nets and followed him, a small tribe of soon-to-be flying sandals, oil in the lamps. If heirloom was a color, a silver-lined braid, sacred and thrilling to follow rises and falls, this labyrinth. A straight white spiral, it is confusing, it will not fall. Sound the shape of completeness, breakthrough, a defining journey. His mind and metals will give them all, quiet the hearts of all the people. And her string interwoven between, from her lap a pure virgin, triple goddess in one woman, the brightest dawn threads a path, a portal driving towards the hip, no pompic sound. Graves are gates, find the sarcophagus. Something was life, a piece of the whole. Behold a tired bull went by, the pride of plagues as a reaper. All eyes do not see with the same eyes. Too many do not live that him encounter. The crowned breakers limp through time, unambivalent violence, ritualistic chaos. Black and white and red almost tore us apart. The destruction is tragic, meaning her wrist helped the wound. A duality tragic and fulfilling like death is death. Efficiency is efficacy. Formal and final, man and beast both, being semi-divine. A strong emetic purge. Asterions is the immortal sleep. Crowned with a mirror, an heirloom crown the color of sapphire, white shining for all. Stars that occupy past, present, and future, but they gravitate towards earth. They're said to have married. They are safe in sight.
I love summer Helicon. You never know what you're going to get, and in this case, it's quite literal because I picked up the wrong story.
Cool.
And I had parts of 3 different stories. I finally found all the pages for this one in my folder. God knows that being a pack rat has its advantages. So I have to give you a disclaimer here. Years and years ago, the first dirty story I ever wrote for Helicon was called Infamous. It was about a gentleman who had become enamored with himself. And anyway, after it had ended and I was helping put chairs away, this kid walked up to me and said, so do you really use Crisco? The disclaimer being, I write in first person all the time. It's not always me. This is the piece of work. So here we go. I probably should have had the camera turned off, but it's too late now. Fluffy. I'm not exactly sure why my employer gave their dog a name synonymous with friendship and comfort, though in hindsight I probably shouldn't have been surprised. See, in my world, the world of the gays, the bigger the muscles, the smaller and more pampered the dog. It even crosses gender lines. Show me a newly minted lesbian couple and I'll show you a fully grown Great Dane just waiting to be adopted. In any event, my employers are very well built. I must pause here to assure you I don't hate animals, honest. Especially not dogs. What happened was just an accident. Plus, it's not like they weren't aware, in spite of the myriad bites and barking tantrums, the nastier its disposition, the cuter my employers seemed to find it, and why not? It's not like they had to take care of the damn thing. That duty fell to me, houseboy, cook, glorified doggy butler. Anyway, I was cleaning the upstairs bathroom. Well, using then cleaning. I'm not really allowed in the master bath, which as far as I'm concerned makes it all their fault. The life of a houseboy isn't as glam as you might think. They get the mansion, I get a closet. They get the whirlpool bath, I get a sink and a toilet. You take your perks where you can get them. The ferocious little throw rug next to the tub just yapping away, demanding yet another doggy treat or walk or maybe that ridiculous rubber hot dog, well, who the hell knows. Fucking rat dogs, they're worse than babies. I mean, if a baby cries, you can stuff a pacifier in its mouth and take a break. It's not like they can follow you, and even the most colicky kid will eventually cry itself out. Not so with Fluffy. I had my earbuds in. Nothing can shut out that high-pitched yip. Anyway, there I was, doing my level best to ignore it. Like a game, you know, see how long I can ignore the little demon before finally breaking down. I just finished dropping a deuce in the forbidden bowl, but the damn toilet wouldn't flush, just sort of cleared its pipes a little and then nothing, which was all I needed. The one room I wasn't supposed to be in, and I went and broke the damn thing. It's not like I could have blamed it on the dog, or they believe me even if I caught the pain in the act. Well, I'm no plumber. But what choice did I have? I lifted off the tank thingy, and suddenly the dog went nuts, even for it, because it was like easier to ignore too, because I could see the problem. It was brick jammed up against the ball thingy. Praying the tank water was at least clean, I took the plunge, my hand anyway, the brick was stuck. When it finally came loose, I couldn't even get it to lie down without locking the flusher thing. I finally pulled the brick out, try another angle, something, anything. But the second it cleared the tank, the rabid little son of a bitch forfeited my game of Fluffy isn't here anymore and sank its teeth into my ankle. And not just a nit, you know. I was all kicking and shit until I finally got a good one in and sent the demented little throw rug flying into the wall. But it turned and came at me again. What choice did I have but to throw the brick? I didn't hit it. Oh. So suddenly there, all these pebble fiends came bouncing out across the marble floor at a broken baggie, still half taped to the brick. Anyway, all their fault. All they had to do was stay out of the bathroom, because that's where we keep the crystal meth, and I wouldn't have gone anywhere near it. I considered my options: flush it down the toilet, take a little, sell the rest, run, make it run for the border, call the cops. I'd watched enough Breaking Bad to realize none of these would work. Or I could get another baggie and put everything back the way I found it. I raced, picked up the toxic little guilt pebbles, jamming them in my pockets as I went. That's when I turned for the baggie, and before I could even threaten the little demon beast with a future in the window of a Vietnamese restaurant, it seized the baggie and made a break for the door. It was a short chase. Fluffy had turned away from the stairs and ran into a dead end where he stood his ground, fangs at the ready. I opted for diplomacy. Here, Fluffy. Good dog. Just drop the baggie, boy. Come on, I cooed. He stopped snarling and cocked his head and allowed me to approach, before finally making a break for it. But I caught him by that ridiculous cubic zirconia-studded collar and clamped his head against the floor with both hands. Needle-sharp teeth snapped infinitely as I pried the spit-drenched baggie from his jaws. The empty baggie. Now, I'm no tweaker, but I've been clubbing long enough to have learned a thing or two. A rock or bump of crystal is enough to get a grown man high. 2 is enough to send him on the adventure of his life. 3 is definitely not advisable. By my conservative estimate, there were at least 50 bumps in the baggie, which probably explained the deep, gurgling snarls percolating up from behind me. Fluffy, I coaxed. He snarled in return, a thick string of foamy dog spit gurgling between its jaws. A quick look at the hall clock confirmed I was out of time. Carl would be home in an hour. Just soon thereafter. Dinner had yet to be started, and I was definitely going to have problems explaining why their beloved pet was performing selections from the Roadco series of Cujo. Hey, I said feebly, how about a nice walk? Fluffy didn't want to walk. Fur rose from his hackles as he roared, and unsettling from a lion, petrifying from a Pomeranian. I barely had time to duck as he launched himself at my throat and out this open second-story window. The silence from below told me everything I needed to know. Well, that and the thud. So ended my last job. No, I'd really rather you didn't call my former employers. I'm reasonably certain that wouldn't end well for either of us. At any rate, I can start right away. I have just one caveat. No pets.
Oh, goodness. What a great night, right? Thank you for coming. This was so fun. And next time is the 4th Thursday in June. We'll have another all-open mic. So come and bring some people and bring something to read. And we'll see you then. Thanks.